a scientist who can turn himself into a humanoid bat creature. Dr. Robert Kirkland Langstrom, aka Mambatt origin, explored. One of the most guaranteed ways to create a supervillain in the world of comics is to make a scientific experiment fail by some mad genius. I know what you're thinking. There are lots of superheroes too, born out of failed experiments. Okay, let me rephrase the sentence. A lot of superpowers have been created as a consequence of failed experiments. Now it is up to them whether they choose to use the gained powers to appear as heroes or villains. Today, we are going to explore one such character born out of a failed experiment. Isn't it obvious the character of someone whose name is opposite to Batman has to be opposite to Batman's character? We are talking about Mambatt, aka Dr. Robert Kirkland Langstrom, who originated as a supervillain, but later his character incarnated as a sympathetic villain or an antihero. Mambatt was first introduced in Detective Comics number 400. Released in June 1970, created by Frank Robbins and Neal Adams, while the editor was Julius Schwartz. Later, the character kept appearing in various series, media adaptations, including video games and television series. Mambatt even has been ranked as IGN's 16th best Batman villain in the year 2017.
Before we go into our explanation, we have a very small request. If you like our content, please support us by subscribing to our channel. This is a small click for you, but for us, it means a lot. Thank you, and let's begin.
Horrendous origin of Mambatt. When, as a child, Kirk was strapped in an underground chamber for 6 weeks until he eventually rescued. He did not seem too happy to be rescued, as he bid a silent adieu to his mates he had spent time with while underground. Later, when he met Bruce Wayne, 6 years of age, he narrated his underground adventures with the half-bat, half-human beings he had interacted with while there. It was clear that this had impacted him deeply. Much later, now an adult, Kirk got admission to Gotham University, and it was here that he met Francine, who would eventually become his wife and play a crucial role in his transformation into Mambatt. He was still obsessed with bats and believed that he could achieve a scientific breakthrough in his study of bats. Eventually, he became a zoologist specializing in nocturnal mammals and was hired by the Gotham Natural History Museum. Kirk had for long followed the careers of costumed crime busters and been in awe of them. His desire was to follow in their footsteps, especially Batman. With this in mind, he dreamt of and succeeded in making a serum that would increase a human's hearing ability and make him bat-like. He experimented with the serum on himself, and at once he showed signs of the physical attributes of a bat. So now he named himself Mambatt and went after the Blackout Gang thieves who'd broken into the museum. There he encountered Batman, who was also chasing those thieves. Both Batman and Mambatt got together to catch those robbers, but Mambatt went off when Batman thought Mambatt was a disguise and said so. Kirk tried to find an antidote to stop his transformation, but wasn't able. He started developing more bat-like features very rapidly and sought shelter in Batman's cave, where while he continued with bat-like instincts, he got into a fight with the Dark Knight and was defeated. As he lay unconscious, Batman decided to help him retransform by making an antidote. But Mambatt refused Batman's help, who then tried to enlist Francine's help in trying to convince Kirk, but this failed too. Meanwhile, Francine and Kirk decided to tie the knot, with Francine taking the Mambatt serum to show her love. But before they could get married, Batman got them to agree to take the antidote to cure them, and he then presided as the best man at their wedding.
Can you make an antidote to the Mambatt formula with the right materials, the right equipment?
It's possible, but what about my family?
Mambatt working with Batman to fight Gotham's criminals. But soon Mambatt mutated again and, in his reverted form, created a more potent serum that would transform him permanently, but he was stopped by Batman and given another antidote to get back to his human form. Kirk now teamed up with Batman to find the bad elements roaming through the streets of Gotham. The latest serum enabled him to control his transformation and abilities, and he joined Batman in fighting crime in Gotham, helping him to nab Roy Reynolds, aka the Guess Who Genius. Thus, together with Batman, he was able to get the monetary reward promised by a lady who wanted her husband's killer brought to justice. Batman and Kirk as Mambatt successfully brought the crime to America, while the reward was donated to Kirk's department at the museum. Meanwhile, Francine was manipulated by a powerful sorcerer called Baron Time to slaughter people, forcing Kirk to transform into Mambatt and save her. Mambatt fought the sorcerer in his castle and killed him. To look after his wife properly, Kirk left Gotham City for his home place. It was during this period he fought with and killed the Ten-Eyed Man. Then again, Dr. Thanatogenus menaced Kirk, trying to use their bodies as a power source. Mambatt was successful in being able to put a stop to this evil. Kirk, together with his wife Francine, moved to New York at Batman's suggestion. There he went about capturing criminals for reward money. He was successful in nabbing Snafu, but only after the Sunset Gang's second attempt. Then he also got together with Robin and Batgirl to save Manhattan from annihilation by the Outsider. He was also able to capture another criminal shotgun sniper, taking the help of Jason Bard. When Francine was in hospital, giving birth to his daughter, he could contain and turn to stone the witch Moraine Le Fay, assisted by Etrigan, the demon. After his daughter's birth, Kirk decided to retire but was forced to become Man-Bat again to save Francine from Snafu, who had escaped from prison. Then he joined hands with Jason Bard in Gotham City to end crimes there. To cure his daughter, Mambatt stole an illegal shipment of medicine, but was stopped by Batman from using it on her. Then, together with Batman, he caught the criminals. Later, helped by Superman, they found an antidote for his daughter. Kirk continued experimenting with the serum, and once again ended up drinking it and changing permanently and getting into a Batcave in his transformed condition and start fighting with Batman, who, in the course of the struggle, forced him to take the antidote, which unfortunately didn't work, and Mambatt escaped from there. When confronted again by Batman with Rebecca by his side, Mambatt, seeing his daughter, gained a measure of human consciousness, thus enabling Batman to inject him with the antidote to aid revert transfer. But Kirk needed to take the antidote at regular intervals, which on forgetting he is transformed into Mambatt again. He then again challenges Batman, kidnaps a child, Jason Todd, and tries to transform him into a bat. But he is stopped by Batman, helped by Francine and Rebecca, and once again changed back. Kirk kept on working in favour of Batman, with him or with other groups like Outsiders, Network, etc., to fight against crime in Gotham. Lesser known facts about Mambatt. Mambatt could be seen in the secret society of supervillains, formed by Alexandra Luthor Jr. in the plot of Infinite Crisis, releasing during 2005 to 2006. 1 year later, Francine was abducted by Talia al Ghul, daughter of supervillain Ra's al Ghul and one of the leaders of the League of Assassins. She threatened Kirk to poison and kill her if Kirk didn't hand over the formula to her, which turned him into Mambatt. Kirk was forced to give her the formula, which Talia used on the soldiers of the League of Assassins, converting them to Mambatt soldier groups. In 2009, as the story of Battle for the Cowl progressed, Batman was supposedly dead, after which Kirk began to be haunted by nightmares of transforming into Mambatt and murdering his wife. Eventually, when Francine disappeared, Kirk took the serum, converting to Mambatt, and tried to track his wife with enhanced power. He confronted the Outsiders and turned back to human form, but soon was captured by another villain, Dr. Phosphorus. He informed Kirk that the serum was not mandatory to transform into Mambatt. Kirk found out that it was Dr. Phosphorus who had kidnapped Francine. Kirk then transformed into Mambatt and saved his wife. The origin of many heroes and villains of DC Comics was rewritten when New 52 began running. Villain Emperor Blackgate, aka Ignatius Ogilvy, stole the serum using it as an airborne virus to transform the Gotham citizens into Mambatt hybrids. Kirk revealed to Batman that he had created the serum to cure deafness in humans, but Ogilvy had stolen the serum and misused it. According to this story, Kirk transformed himself into Mambatt to find a cure and antibodies to the serum for the last time. After stopping Ogilvy from the attacks and handing over the serum to Batman, Kirk started developing a cure for himself. But soon he realised that he was completely addicted to the serum as he kept on oscillating between human and Mambatt form. A series of attacks commenced on the people of Gotham, resembling attacks of Mambatt. Kirk realised that he was responsible for the attacks, but he didn't remember anything of his actions at night. One of the darkest events affecting the lives of heroes and villains of DC Universe was Blackest Night. Francine once approached Kirk, revealing a cure to stop the Mambatt transformation permanently. Unfortunately, amidst the process, Francine was injured from a blast. Kirk's rage and fear triggered a change, making him Mambatt forever. What makes Mambatt so dangerous? As Kirk transformed into Mambatt, his hands grew hairy while sharp claws developed, which are so strong that they can tear through the flesh and muscles of his victims. Wings also developed, enabling the Mambatt to fly. One of the unique features of Mambatt was the ability of echolocation. He was able to emit high-pitched sound waves and pick up the echoes when the waves reflected from nearby objects. Similar to bats, this super-sensitive hearing and sonar enabled the Mambatt to navigate in pitch-black darkness. Mambatt was also able to generate sound waves which stunned people around him. These sound waves could be so powerful that they could shatter glass. Having all the bat characteristics, the Mambatt could easily communicate with other local bats and ask for their help. Eventually, the bats would swarm together and attack the target. The primary source of concern about the Mambatt was the unpredictability. After transforming into a Mambatt, it is uncertain whether he would retain his memory and conscience or not. If he maintained his conscience, then he fought against the crime, but when he lost his sanity and conscience, he was like any other supervillain with super strength, endurance and agility. He had no recognition of enemy and friend, and could harm anyone to the same extent. Creative and terrifying versions of Bat Creature in various forms of media. Explored. DC Animated Universe introduced Mambatt as the first villain in the story on leather wings, while Kirk appeared in Tiger Tiger, voiced by Mark Singer, while Frank Welker gave Mambatt voice. The character of Mambatt was altered entirely in the cartoon The Batman, and appeared 3 times in The Man Who Would Be Bat, Pets, and Rumors. Here, he was unmarried, worked under Wayne Corp, and was portrayed as more paranoid and demented than his usual character. Peter McNichol voiced him. A positive and heroic version of Mambatt was portrayed in the series Beware the Batman, voiced by Robin Atkin Downes. He was a scientist, held hostage by another demented villain, Professor Pig, and Mr. Toad, forcing him to create an army of Mambatt hybrids. He was rescued by Batman and Katana and finally joined the Outsiders. Kirkland Langstrom could be seen in the movie Son of Batman, where Deathstroke kidnapped Kirk's wife and daughter, compelling him to create the Mambatt formula for the League of Assassins.
What's the holdup, Doctor?
The mutagen is unstable when added to my original formula.
Robin and Batman eventually rescued Langstrom and his family. Kirk had one of the lead roles in the film Justice League, Gods and Monsters, where Michael C. Hall voiced him. Kirk is an anti-hero Batman in this alternate universe. Through flashback, it was revealed that Kirk had been diagnosed with cancer, whose cure had been developed through his research on bats. Though Kirk was cured of cancer, unpredictable side effects transformed him into a bloodthirsty vampire. After Superman discovered him, he joined the Justice League. The heroic version of Kirkland Langstrom appeared in Justice League, Gods and Monsters Chronicles. where Michael C. Hall reprised his role from the movie. Here too, like the film, Kirk Langstrom is Batman and not Mambatt.
If you liked our content, don't forget to leave a like and subscribe to us if you haven't already. Have a good one and be safe. Thanks.
Back.